and I'm 12 years old. I live in LaGrange, Kentucky, and in my free time, I like to bake. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make banana bread. This is a very simple recipe, so let's get started. For this recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of Crisco, 4 eggs, 2.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 6 bananas. We are using very overripe bananas because they will be easier to smash. Our very first step is that we will need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Okay, next we're going to get started mixing all of our ingredients together. We're going to start by adding 2 cups of sugar. And I'm just going in order and adding a cup of Crisco. Then 4 eggs. Eggs are actually one of my favorite things to add because I just think it's really fun to crack them. It's just one of my personal favorite things. Piper, come on. Ooh. And 4. Next, we are going to add 2.5 cups of flour.
You need to mix that first.
Actually, first we're going to mix this up. Just using my mix and whisk and trying to... Okay, no, this ain't working. We're going to use an avocado masher or a potato masher or whatever you have that would be good to mash stuff. And we're just going to mash our Crisco. Just get it easier to work with.
And then you can
And you can, if it gets stuck, you can just use your spatula to take it all off. And the spatula is really good to smash things as well, to mash up your stuff as well.
Do you want to slowly add the flour, Kenzie?
Yes, we're going to slowly add the flour while we do this. Thank you, Caitlin, for being help. Just shake it a little bit. A little shimmy. It's the best way to do it, just to shake it slowly.
Disclaimer, the counter was scrubbed and disinfected before we started.
Yes. And make sure you wash your hands before you start because you want to be clean. Which I had done. Okay, then I'm going to take I'm going to keep using my spatula and keep on mixing this. Make sure we get all of the ingredients filled in because the sugar has sunk to the bottom and we want to make sure that we get it all in here so that this tastes delicious. Okay. Now we're just going to add a little bit more flour and mix. And add a bit more flour. Go ahead and add about half of what's left. It's okay to get a little messy. We're going to clean up afterwards.
With disinfectant wipes.
And disinfectant spray. Okay, add the whole, go ahead and add the rest of it. Okay. Thanks for your help, Caitlin. I think I've got it. If you want to go ahead and clean up the eggshells for me, thank you. Now I'm going to
just keep mixing.
Just keep on mixing until you get it pretty well blended. It's good. Okay, so we cleaned up our flour mess a little bit, and we are going to go ahead and pre-mash our bananas. You will need 6 bananas for this recipe. So I'm just going to dump our bowls of pre-sliced bananas, because that makes them easier to work with, into a bigger bowl. And then once we've mashed all of this, we are going to add our flour mixture, which should become more of a dough. I'll show you in a second once we've mashed our bananas. This is where our avocado masher becomes a big help, because it's really good for smushing the bananas and getting them to a usable consistency. Now, our batter will not be a dough at the end like it is right now with the flour mixture, but because adding this bananas is going to add a lot of wetness and moisture to the batter, so it will be less dough-like when we're done. Mixing this, just keep mixing until it is a mushy consistency, almost like baby food, but it's going to be a lot more chunky. Now, we are going to take our flour mixture and we are going to mix that in. Caitlin, can I have some assistance, please? You're going to
the
need
muscles
a bit
of
both.
the family.
No, I just need you to.
Oh, okay. Bow.
Yeah, hold the bowl, please.
Can I be the taste tester?
Oh, we're not tasting the batter. It doesn't taste as good as it does.
And it has raw stuff in
Oh,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Do not try the batter because you don't want to get salmonella.
You don't want to get sick because of raw eggs and things like that. That's not good for you. And although brownie batter and cake batter taste so good before you cook them, banana batter, bread batter is a bit different because after you cook it, it's really good with cream cheese.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yes, that's a really good thing to pair it with, but it's not as good. But for some reason, banana bread's just not as good without before you've cooked it. So, okay, thank you for the help, Caitlin. I'm using my avocado masher and I'm just mashing this all together. And before I keep going with this, I'm not going to forget my other ingredients. 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of teaspoons, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla is really good because it adds that yummy flavor to your cakes and mix it. Without vanilla, this wouldn't taste as good, so make sure that you add that.
Just say, okay, I'm gonna mix this really well.
Okay, I'm gonna mix this real quick and then I'll be right back. We mixed this up nice and well, and it should be the consistency of a cake batter. It might be a little bit thinner, and that's okay. And if it's very lumpy, that's all right, because those are chunks of bananas, and it tastes really good when it's in the bread. Next, we are going to take our loaf pans, and if you don't have a loaf pan, these are also really good as muffins. They'll just take less time to cook. And you need to make sure that these aren't getting overcooked or it won't taste as well, and you don't want it to be undercooked or it won't be very good for you. I'm just gonna grease my pans, fully greased, so they're fully greased.
Grease the pan.
Don't forget to grease the pan, because if you don't, these will be really hard coming out, and that's no fun because I've had that problem before where I didn't grease the pan well enough. So if you need some assistance from your mom or a parent, that's fine. Okay, next I'm going to scoop this into the pan. Well, our batter is a bit more thin, so I'm just gonna let it pour. And quick disclaimer, when mixing the batter, if it is easier for you, you can use an electric mixer, but we decided not to do that today. And this recipe makes about 2 pans of banana bread. I know I greased an extra pan just in case, but I wasn't too sure yet because I've not made this recipe in a banana pan in a little while. Because the last time I made this was with my Nana, but the last time I made this particular batter alone was with my mom, and we did it as muffins. And next, this part is optional. You can take some nuts. The recipe calls for a full cup of nuts. That is optional, and if you are using a full cup, go ahead and fold it in. But we don't have a cup of nuts, we only have a half cup, so we're just gonna sprinkle some pecans on top. I'm going to do one pan with nuts and the other pan without nuts. So we're just gonna sprinkle these on top. And it doesn't matter what type of nuts you can use. You can use walnuts, pecans, whatever you have. We're using pecans today because that's what I have. And you can do as many or as little as you like. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna do about enough to cover the whole pan, but not have giant gaps. But not be fully covered up all as well. Okay, next we need to put these in the oven. We are going to be cooking them for 34 to 50 minutes. And you need to make sure that you're careful and have guardian supervision or help to put these in the oven. Thank you for the help, Caitlin.
Put it long way so you can put both in
And
there.
we're going to put them long ways in this oven so
So I
that
can
both
cook them.
will fit. Thank you, Caitlin. And then I'm going to set my timer for 34 minutes, and we'll check it after that, and I'll see you then. Okay, so the timer just went off for our banana bread, which means they are done, so we're going to pull these out of the oven, And once again, make sure that you have parental or guardian supervision when using the oven, or if you need to, get help. Just gotta pull these out, and these look good. Very careful with the oven. It's a little jiggly, so I don't think it's done.
Put it on the pan, not on my counter.
Don't put your hot pans on the counter. Make sure you put them on another pan or the stove.
Careful.
Be very, very careful because you don't want it to happen like I did, which I slightly touched the oven and it was hot. Now to see if these are done, what we are going to do is we are going to poke it with a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, they're done. This is still a little wet because if you look closely, it's still got some batter on it. So we're going to put these back in for a few minutes and check them when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and check the other one. Once again, still wet. Okay, now that our banana bread is fully cooked and has cooled, we are going to prepare it. So for one of our banana breads, I'm going to put in the freezer because it will last longer. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to take my banana bread and I'm going to flip it over and get it out of the pan. That came out nicely. And then we're going to cover this in saran wrap to put in the freezer. Be careful with the sharp edge on your saran wrap unless you're using scissors. Scissors are a lot easier probably, but careful with the sharp edge and get parental help or get help from your parent or guardian to do that part. And once it's all wrapped up in saran wrap, we are going to put it in a plastic baggie, but before we put it in, I'm going to take a pen / Sharpie or marker, and I'm going to put banana bread and the date that we made it. And today is, what's the date?
30th.
30th.
Wait.
No, it's the 31st.
It's the 30th. There's not there's only 30 days in March.
No, there's 31.
It's 31st.
Oh, okay.
It's the 31st.
Yeah, it's the 31st.
Okay.
So I'm going to put banana bread, March 31st, so that we know how long this has been in there. There we go. And I'm going to stick this in this plastic bag so that we can store it in the freezer and not have to worry about it getting old. All right. And then for the other one, I'm going to display it on a nice plate because in my family, we all love banana bread. And it is a wonderful breakfast to have a slice of banana bread with some cream and cheese. Pop this one out. This one we're going to flip over. Ta-da! Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you liked it and that you can try making this recipe at home because I know it's delicious.
Wait, there's